You're watching India Global. We now turn our attention to the latest that's unfolding in Los Angeles, where thousands have been evacuated in the LA County as a fast-growing wildfire has erupted. The blaze has grown rapidly to over 8,000 acres, fueled by strong winds and dry brush, forcing 50,000 people to flee. Interstate 5, the I-5, a key highway along the west coast, has been shut down, though no homes or businesses have been damaged so far. This comes as the region is already grappling with two massive wildfires that happened earlier this month, destroying multiple neighborhoods.
We have over 4,000 firefighting personnel assigned to the incident, and we had a very robust ground and air response to the incident that you see behind me.
All right, Zerreen Osho, who's the Director of Institute for Governance and Sustainable Development, joins me live from Washington, D.C. Thanks much, Zerreen, for speaking to me. Talk to us about what do you think is the reason why the LA fires have once again happened, and do you think this is part of a larger climate change issue? How do you read it, the cause of it?
Hi, Gauri. Good evening, and thank you so much for having me. So we do not know the exact cause of what caused the fire. But what we do know is that climate change has a huge role to play in what has been the devastation before our eyes. And it's an interesting development, particularly in the backdrop of President Trump now exiting the Paris Agreement. I think what is very important to note is that there is a phenomenon of hot winds that are carried through the mainlands to the coastlands. These are called the Santa Ana winds, which are really high-speed winds. So whenever the fire and the exact point and cause of fire, wherever it was caused in the Palisades, then spread across a very wide range of area following these winds. And now we know that apart from the Palisades, the Hughes, which is another neighborhood in northern LA, has also been grappling with these new fires that have come about, and the expected damage is approximately 9,500 hectares of land. So this is going to come at a large cost. We've also seen that the insurance and actuarials working on this devastation have estimated these losses to be anywhere between tens of billions of US dollars. This has a direct impact on the insurance premiums that are going to be paid by residents. Will insurance companies be willing to insure these homes again is still unknown. But what is also a very important point to note is the rainfall. Now, that is not a phenomenon that has caused necessarily this wildfire in this instance, but it is very much a major contributing part of what the fire has been able to do and the devastation that has been caused. LA this summer, since May 2024, has received extremely, strikingly low, historically low rainfall. And according to some of the early estimates that are coming from studies, we now know that this rainfall is less than, is 10% less than the average.
Okay. So which brings me to ask you that, Zerreen, I understand what you're saying. These are factors that are extraneous factors, but you know, one cannot help but talk about the fact that this comes at a time when US itself is also internally debating how it wants to, or if at all it wants to, address climate change as a larger issue. Poorer countries are suffering much more. They rely on developed countries. They rely on America. And the fact that America has exited the Paris Accord, how do you see the larger climate issue? I'm not talking particularly about the wildfires here now.
Yes, Gauri, that's an interesting question, and one is yet to see what actually will happen. But as far as climate change is concerned, it's not an opinion, it's a fact. And what is happening, the unfortunate incidents in LA are a testament to that fact. I think it's high time we wake up to the calling of what is going to happen, because it's not going to be easy to live. And if this is the condition of, you know, the United States of America and LA, which is the hotspot for all celebrities from Hollywood, one can only imagine what the implications of this would be in the developing world. And one thing to keep in mind is, yes, this is the second time that President Trump would have now exited the Paris Agreement. It certainly undermines the entire treaty process. You know, one can also debate if America is going to, you know, figure out its stance on climate change based on the presidents, that does not necessarily send a really great signal out to the world about what America wants to do and what is
Exactly.
general consensus on climate change. But again, it doesn't take away from the fact that this is reality. This is not it is not an opinion. It cannot be contested.
It is an uncontested fact, and the world is facing. It's not just America when it comes to climate change. Zareen, appreciate you taking out the time to speak to me on India
you so
Global.
much.